baby.
All right. Everyone be careful.
Oh, man. Woo. I'm so ready to feel less pain, hopefully. What is up, everybody, and welcome into the pregame show. Thank you. You know, people said that. I saw this coming a lot, that at the arena, didn't feel so bad. Here, we felt terrible. We felt like the worst we've ever felt. Honestly, one of the worst we've ever felt in a regular season game.
Oh.
At the arena, people were like, looked like they were playing hard out there.
Well, the fourth quarter was super dope right up until it wasn't.
Yeah.
I remember it was a glorious charge.
Yeah, well, there you go. We're presented as always by DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app. Use promo code DNVR. I guess, Eric, are you going to?
Yeah, I'll take us on down the bets train.
Hell yeah. Take us on the bets train, baby. No Dev tonight, no Harrison. Those guys are celebrating Thanksgiving. But instead, I got Brendan Vogt.
I give thanks to be here with you fellas, doing the job because someone has to. Also, because I love it. Come on, what a treat. Another show with the fellas.
Oh, another
dude,
one
your
down,
energy
dude.
is so
Another one bites the
good.
dust.
So good tonight, Vogt. Then over here, I got D-Line.
My energy's not great. I'm ready for the game, sort of. I mean, last night, you're right. It didn't feel terrible.
I'm ready.
It also did not feel good. It really felt
like
terrible
to me. I felt really terrible.
Well, it didn't. What it felt like was just like what are we doing here? Like, what are any of us doing here? What is the point of any of this?
I fear you mean that in a broader sense than what you're letting on.
I mean, as far as like NBA basketball. Like,
okay.
If it's not, if we're not here to enjoy it, and like the players playing it aren't enjoying it, and people in the stands aren't, why are we doing it?
That's so true.
Why are we putting on a show about it? But I'm glad that it's been less than 24 hours. We can just erase it from our memories.
Well, there are people this way, and you guys know I'm really into Marvel movies, but there are people like
the most marvelous
that go to every one. They can't miss it. They're in line. They're waiting, and they hate them all.
Yeah.
And they're always like, I hated it. That's terrible. They're like, why do you do this to yourself?
Because they're comic book people.
Yeah, their comic book can never be good enough. Guys, I am in such a good mood. I want us to talk about the stages of grief and where we are from last night's game. I'm telling you, over it.
You're clearly over it.
But we have to go through the stages so I can walk you through the last 24 hours. I want to talk, actually, the most interesting thing we're going to do on the pregame show here is Kenyon Martin. He went on a podcast. I don't remember what it was. Sam Morrill, is that the comedian? He's a pretty funny guy.
Yeah, Sam Morrill.
Yeah, Sam Morrill. He has a podcast. And Kenyon Martin went on it, had a very interesting comment that I think pertains especially to the Denver Nuggets, this Denver Nuggets. And he was actually talking about the old Denver Nuggets of 2009. It's a very interesting comment, and of course we'll make bets. But first, Nuggets in Oklahoma City, second night of a back-to-back. Give me the game notes. How much is ready is Porter and Murray ready to go tonight?
You want to go through the stages of grief.
Oh, shit.
I've got the injury report.
Let's go.
Jamal Murray, reconditioning, and Michael Porter Jr., left heel contusion, are both out tonight.
Doesn't it sound like Jamal Murray's like an iMac or something? He's been sent back for reconditioning. You get a refurbished point guard.
Porter left heel contusion. I didn't really catch the moment.
What's the most out of shape you can get in 1 week? I mean, COVID. I don't want to joke too much about this because you get COVID.
This is they're like massive design flaws with the human body. I don't know who we need to take this up with, but like you can get like in really really good shape and then you can lose it so quickly. It's not even funny. I mean, it's a little funny because of the whole Sisyphus thing. Yeah, like you could just you put on those extra 10, whatever, and then you're like, I'm gonna take today off, and then you're like, I've never run before.
Counterpoint: my brother did cross country in high school. I feel like he's been in shape since. He never runs.
But is he actually in shape?
I think if you ever run a marathon or if you run cross country, you never have to get in shape again. You're just permanently.
You're just.
That's my theory.
Kissed in.
For the longest time, my brother would be like, I haven't run for 5 years till today, and then I ran a 4-minute mile. And I'm like, wow.
I don't want to interrupt this Malcolm Gladwell podcast you guys are into here, but I think Jamal just was dealing with the side effects of the illness.
You might be right. We presented.
Well, that's what we said.
Yeah, you guys really got off.
It is what we said. All the same, like he looked like he was out of shape last night.
He was laboring. He was laboring through it. Michael Porter Jr. left heel contusion. Didn't quite see when that happened. He popped up on the injury report as questionable. Now he is out. No Jeff Green with that knee contusion. Boy, this is fun. No Bones Highland.
No Bones?
Non-COVID illness. No.
I love that this is like right before Thanksgiving. So tomorrow we can look and give thanks when they all come back. That's right. Like,
Jokic will play.
I'm thankful for Nikola Jokic.
Honestly, that's 90% of it.
And Ish Smith is also out. That is a given, I think, at this point. Just a quick rundown. Available players: AG, KCP, Jokic, Bruce Brown, DeAndre Jordan, Zeke Naji, Christian Brown, Davon Reed, Vlatko Chanchar, and Mr. Jack White.
Jack White. Oh, yeah. You know what we get in that? So you know who's healthy tonight? Chalky.
That's right. Vlatko
We got
Čančar.
Chalky. We were joking beforehand. We're like, man, what do you think the Nuggets are going to look like? We're going to get a look of them without Porter and Murray. And it's exactly like last year's team.
Yeah.
They didn't have those guys either, and they won 48 games. Could have won 49, but they punted the last one.
Maybe with a bit more defensive upside, though, this time around. And maybe we get a glimpse of, for the first time, a really defensive-oriented lineup around just that one hub. So it could be interesting in that regard.
Do we have starters?
I haven't seen starters.
It'll come any minute. Yeah, because here's the thing: is you're going to get Jokic,
Denver
right?
Nuggets.
Pretty confident you're going to get Jokic.
We do have
Toki,
starters.
If we read the starters and Jokic is not on that, I'm just leaving. I'm just leaving.
You're just like, we don't need to do it.
The starters are Bruce Brown, KCP.
This is great.
Davon Reed.
Oh, Malone!
Aaron Gordon.
Why would he do this to me?
And
Why
Nikola
not just
Jokic.
give us... You have a Bruce... Because I was sitting here thinking, if you just gave Bruce Brown to that lineup, I would be like, is this Denver's best defensive lineup that you could possibly do? By the way, you have to go up against Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Instead, no! We have one liability for defensively, and he's going to give Shai a million points. Nonetheless, I hope Christian Brown is the first one off of the bench because I would love to see that 5-man lineup. There's little things you have to look at the silver linings. No Murray, Porter, and Bones. That 5-man lineup, if you put Christian Brown in where Davon Reed is, I just want to see. What if it locks up Shai and Shai goes for his worst game of the year?
Totally.
And would you tell me that lineup wouldn't look great with Jokic running the show? You have KCP, Brown, AG, like. It's not going to light you on fire with three-pointers, but my God, it's guys that stay in their lane.
What makes it interesting, though, for me is the last time they played OKC, it was a slightly less aggressive anti-yoke scheme. Will they ratchet it back up given the present personnel? So
you're right.
Are you guys excited to revisit last year a little bit?
I'm excited.
Yeah. Hey, but you know what? Jokic sure didn't look like he missed a beat coming back from clearing protocols, so he should bring it tonight.
That's the annoying thing about last night's game is that you're like, well, they were sick. Or you're like, so was Jokic. Looked incredible.
Yeah, I mean,
why is he not?
But I think we also have to acknowledge that you never know. Like, people could be sick.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I honestly sometimes think Jokic is divine. Literally divine.
We say this all the time. I mean, I make half the shirts and things I make about Jokic are literal religious artifacts.
Yeah. You have a joke, Eric, about I don't know. Hopefully I don't get in trouble for saying this because he's so controversial at the moment. But about Elon Musk, is he an alien?
Yes.
Good alien, bad alien? We're unsure. But he's definitely not a human being, like some kind of crazy somebody from another planet. I feel like Jokic is this way. Like he is a divine individual.
We're like, let's try to understand his psychology. And it's like he doesn't share the same brain as we do. So yeah, he's just difficult.
He's this pure being, and it's like, oh man, coming back from COVID, I bet it's gonna be hard. Just perfect. Like he just plays a perfect game, and we're like, the only issue is can you get him the ball or not? And so anyway, I feel excited for that. Vogt, who are you excited to watch tonight though? Like we just went through. Is there a single player that you're like, hey, we're getting weird. Might as well see if this guy.
I mean, we're kind of like running out of players. Vlatko, sure.
Yeah, I love it. That's the guy I was hoping you would go with.
And I kind of thought maybe with all the tinkering and all the various disastrous bench lineups thrown out in that last game, Vlatko might see the floor at some point, but it wasn't to be. Perhaps it is this time around. Hey, listen, you've got yourself not quite a 7 game on your hands, but something in that territory. What's the formula? Get Vlatko in there.
Yeah. Although I don't feel like overcoming the Oklahoma City Thunder would have the same...
Not quite as galvanizing an event.
Although, you weren't here when they beat the Dallas Mavericks.
That's right.
Were you part of that discourse at all as to whether or not that was in some ways a more impressive victory?
Yeah, I saw you guys arguing that. I mean, I thought it was maybe a less likely win. But I think the context of the 7 was a pretty...
Well, see, that was the
team was on a tear.
The Nuggets also won the 7. Dallas kind of just played crappy.
True.
You know what I mean? I felt a little bit more.
I know. I
never took that one from
I agree with all of those points. It seems silly even to bring this back up, but I just think just as far as an improbable victory, that ranks as about as high as you can. This tonight, it still feels like we should win, right?
Man, well, I mean, if you have Jokic, look, whenever we have Jokic, I just feel good about it. Honestly, they could be playing the freaking Boston Celtics tonight, and I'd be like, well, if Jokic's in, I mean, it's worth watching, and we might get it. Who knows?
But the injury report, we're back to this place. The chat let's see Peyton Watson. Tyler,
he's out.
Peyton Watson is out. Wow, we're down bad.
Who is the bench? Oh yeah, so it is going to be Brown, DeAndre. Here's the problem: is Zeke or Vlatko are going to play because you're going to play DeAndre. So are you going to play one of those guys at 3? God, we're down bad.
I think so.
All right, well, let's just try it. Anyway, I'm excited to see Vlatko as well, but I'm also really excited to see Christian Brown. And please, Michael Malone, play him with Nikola Jokic. Just play him a few minutes. And not just with him. Put him out there with like AG or KCP, like, some starters. Don't give him a crummy lineup. Let's go quickly through this because this idea sounded more fun earlier today when I was wallowing in my pity. I should say this one thing real quick. 100 Invisible Threads premieres tonight.
There we go.
It's the single thing I'm most proud of in my entire career.
Nice.
I'm
Good
serious.
adjustment. No, you used to say life, and we called you out on that.
I never said that. I said it was the thing I created that I'm most proud of. I was
yeah.
like, you created children. And that's like in a different way I created them. But I mean, like, I feel like, God created them. But either way, I'm just saying.
It got weird.
Yeah, I got a little weird.
So
I'm
weird
just saying
pregame.
this is a thing I created. God had nothing to do with 100 Invisible
That's
Threads.
right.
That was all me and RG and the rest of us.
God
here.
turned his back on this project.
He definitely turned his back on it. Anyway, it premieres tonight at 10 o'clock. And I'm telling you guys, if you do me one favor in life, it's check it out. Because I know you're going to enjoy it. I know you're going to enjoy this history. And I hope the Nuggets give us some great vibes tonight so that everybody, because it's going to premiere right after the postgame show. And everybody's like, you know what? I'll grab a little cocktail. I don't have anywhere to be tomorrow.
It's fun. It's digestible. And you made an interesting choice. There's so much to include in there. And you limited it to an hour. And I think for people, if you consider it daunting at all, because it's an educational thing, it's digestible. It's like an hour is a good length. You're going to get in there. You're going to learn some stuff. You're going to have some fun. I strongly suggest checking it out.
Yeah, so that's on tonight. Anyway, last night, I'm not going to lie, guys. The Denver Nuggets, I feel like they let me down. I don't say that too often, but I feel like the Nuggets last night let me down. And I went through these strings. So tell me if you went through this, Eric, and you can also tell me, Vogt. The first stage of grief is denial. Was the game was happening, we had somebody sitting with us last night. She kept going, are you sure we're going to win? I said they're going to win by 20. I'm like, yes, we're going to win. We're going to win. All the way down to the final 5 minutes, I was still like, yeah, they're going to win.
Yep.
I was in denial.
Yep.
Yes, absolutely. I thought they were going to win right up until Jamal Murray tried that layup on 3 defenders.
That was the moment I did.
What about when Aaron Gordon shot I would say an air ball, but it was like
it was a fine
there was
shot.
so much air to that ball.
There was a lot of air to that ball.
It was like an atmosphere ball.
Then the next stage, guys, is anger. Did you watch the post-game show?
I read the chat.
I was angry. It's rare that I'm angry after a game. I was so angry.
I know that we were all angry.
You were mad at me and Win for the quality of the post-game quotes. We didn't even say them.
Who was me?
He
I was.
Yeah, he was a little fired up.
I was mad at
bro.
you guys for
The stages.
for the quote.
It just felt like you were upset with us, But
It's the
I
stages,
digress.
bro.
It's the
Come on.
stages. You got to let a guy process.
Then I went to the bargaining stage.
Sure. If
This
we only would have had.
Yeah, no, I was like, well, Murray was sick. I got to cut him some slack, guys. Like he was sick. He's coming back. I mean, he wasn't reconditioned yet.
Cade Cunningham's not that good.
Yeah, we need
actually
to get refurbished Murray.
And it's like, you know what? You last minute. I went through bargaining today. Number 4 is depression.
Oh man,
I think I might still be in that one. I'm not sure.
it's tough for me to figure out which depression is holding on.
There's
strongest.
so
If
many
this is
depressions.
if this was a Nuggets depression, just sort of an
Holiday.
old person depression, or just general look around at my surroundings kind of depression.
It is true, but I do feel it was a little extra depressing. Would you not agree?
I was very.
It was very depressing. It was very
And
depressing.
then the last stage is acceptance, which I'm not going to hit, so I'm going to cross that one out. And I'm
Yeah.
going to say the next stage is kicking the shit out of the Oklahoma
dude.
City Thunder.
Oh, boy.
That's the final stage of grief.
I'm ready for that part of it.
I'm
just
so
the,
ready
the
for it.
turn the page. That's where we're at.
That's the turn the page,
It's
man.
not even, we won't accept what we were given last night, but we will stop acknowledging that it happened.
And honestly, like, think about it. We're all going to spend time with our family, aunts, uncles, whatever it is, cousins, whatever your tradition is. It'd be nice to be in a great mood for that.
Oh, I would love to. And, as we all know, it's not up to us.
It's not.
It's up to the Nuggets. So get it together, fellas.
Get it
Yeah,
together.
The holidays are up.
Yeah, dude, we didn't annex our emotions to you just to have you carelessly go up and down and lose to the goddamn Thunder and the whoever they played last
We've
night.
never lost so bad in a regular season game that the next day we kept talking about it. That's how bad this one was.
I actually
Win
haven't
one
thought
for
about
the-
it all day. Like, sitting here, it's bringing up a lot of bad feelings.
Yeah. I kind of hate this show.
Drinking some liquid death. Guys, I was listening to a podcast the other day because a PR person sent it to me.
Nice.
And it was Kenyon Martin, and he was talking to, let me get the names right here. Sam Morrill. You guys know him. He's a pretty funny comedian that I know through TikTok. Like, some of these comedians have really taken off on TikTok. Have you guys noticed that?
No, you spend a lot more time on TikTok than I do.
It's a good app. It's a place that if you're...
Adam loves sending his information directly to the Chinese government.
That's my favorite feature of it.
It's
honestly the selling point.
That's why
It's like, wow,
yeah.
gotta let the Chinese know what I'm doing. Julian Edelman apparently was also on it. I didn't really hear his voice too much, but they had Kenyon Martin on. And he pulls no punches when talking about George Karl these days. I don't know if you guys do that. He really dislikes George Karl in a way that I think is kind of funny.
He really does not.
He really does not like him. And he says, I couldn't stand him, man. I just bad. Coaching one aspect of the game doesn't make you a great basketball coach. He has a lot of wins, been blessed with a lot of talent over the years. I'm not a big fan of George Karl. Not at all. That's just typical ex-player hates his coach talking trash. Like, to me, I like whatever. Put that in a box. You can agree with him, disagree, whatever it is. I'm sure George Karl has some bad things to say about Kenyon Martin. He wrote some in his book.
Yeah,
and he's certainly,
I think they're public, actually.
Yeah, they're actually public, so you could read about those things. But here's what I thought was most interesting, and the reason I wanted to bring it up. He was asked about the 2009 run. By the way, anytime there's a national show that talks about the 2009 Nuggets, it's always about how great Kobe is. It's like the dumbest. It's the worst part about losing that one is nobody actually remembers anything about that series except for Kobe's pretty cool, and that was a big series for him, wasn't it? And it's like, yeah. Kenyon's like sitting there answering footnote. Yeah, you're a footnote in this story, right? Anyway, he's talking about that one and the success of that team, and oh man, that team was so good. And he says it was Chauncey, and he goes, here's the difference with George Karl. And again, he's throwing George Karl under the bus. You can take it all with a grain of salt. But I do think there's something important, less about the insult to George Karl and more about the nature of how teams operate. As he said, the difference with us in 2009 versus every other year was Chauncey took the wheel in the final minutes of the game. He said, it wasn't nothing about, call a timeout, we'll drop a nice play, or I'll get the team together and tell them what's important. Chauncey said, get out of the way, I got us, and everybody respected him. And every time he had us in order in the end of the game. And the reason I bring that up is so much of our conversation is about the coach. And Michael Malone is a general. He runs this team even more than George Karl. He runs it with an iron fist, right? Like he's the guy. I do think there is something, though, about, and I'm not blaming Michael Malone for this. Great leadership overcomes all of these things. But there is something, too, a coach can only lead you into so far. And then you need to have the floor general, a la a Chauncey Billups, a la Chris Paul, a la any of these guys. Somebody, I think Draymond Green can be this guy for the Warriors. It has been for them in the past as well as Steph Curry. But somebody who at the end of a game, there's no time for the coach to do this and the coach to do that. You need a player on the court that says, this is how we operate. And I honestly look at last night's game and think that's, of course, the situation that we saw. But I think it's something with Denver that they've been good at in the past. They're not good at that now. But I look at it that way now.
But do you think that, like you said in the past, collectively Murray and Jokic have been on that level? Guys that you can just say, it's read or react. Malone doesn't even really need to call much. Just trust these two to bring us down the stretch in the last 4 minutes. I felt like that was a big part of this team's identity. It just was certainly absent last night.
Yeah, last night.
Dude,
of course it was absent.
How bad was the game? Was the loss last night? We are now wondering if the Nuggets have any structure.
No. I'm not wondering. That's not why I brought it up. I'm bringing it up because I think you want to. It's just such an important thing to say that oftentimes it's really just about the players and do they have the ability to do this. I do think the Nuggets have demonstrated this to a certain degree. But what I'm saying is the leadership aspects, every player that was on that 2009 team talks about Chauncey was the difference. Chauncey knew right away he was this or that. And that's what I'm saying is that I think that the Nuggets will know when that leap has been taken from good, which they have right now. Right now, they out-talent a lot of people in the clutch. Jokic is just so dynamic. But I think there's a noticeable, that guy's here. That guy that leads us through all of these little battles that we go through. And that's the part where I think Denver still is trying to figure that out.
Fair enough. I always wonder how much of a grip we have on to what extent Jokic does that.
Yep.
Because it always seems non-vocal. One time I asked AG that, though, and he was pretty emphatic that Jokic talks a lot on the floor.
Yeah.
So I feel like sometimes we don't actually know per se to what extent he is that. We kind of assume he's a lead by example guy, but maybe when they are humming in the final moments of the game, it's a product of him being vocal, him telling guys exactly what's up.
And last night, to me, again, I'm not trying to make this. I wanted to make this a season thing, not a last night thing. Because last night, I think Jokic was probably Murray started to have it going a little bit, and I think he was like, okay, Murray had a crap game, but here we go.
Right.
We're ready to go. And then he just didn't, and it was like, well, that didn't happen this time, but usually we do.
Sure. Exactly. That's how I see it.
I mean, it's it was said that Jokic's influence was on that last play where they missed the. I mean, not that Jokic invented that, or I've never heard that before, but like intentionally missing the free throw, like actually causing or calling for some strategic, plays from the Nuggets. I mean, Jokic kind of goes up and down with it.
I agree.
He's like, I mean, I can see myself. I mean, I'm a better basketball player, but I can see
other than that, though,
I can see myself in this. In that, I've found myself in a position in life that I've never wanted, where I'm in charge of a lot of things, and like there's some days where I'm like, I'm gonna come in, I'm gonna let people know what's what, we're doing this, and other days I'm like, I'm gonna hide and I'm gonna see what happens, and then I'll fix it quietly when no one's watching. And so sometimes, like, that's the thing about being having a reluctant leader, which is the thing that, again, I'm talking about me specifically here, what you want in life, a reluctant leader. No, but truly, like, you want the guy that doesn't want the power, but like he's the one that has to do it. Jokic being this person, like, but sometimes it's like, I can just see it on his face. He like doesn't want to do it. He's like, can you guys just do the right thing? Like, KCP, is it possible you couldn't, when I'm coming to set a screen, you don't just run into my chest and fall down and drop the ball? Is that like, do I have to tell you to not do that? Or
that's chemistry, probably. Mostly that specific one. I mean, that was just a busted sequence or whatever.
Yeah, it was a pretty big sequence though.
Pretty big one. Yeah, it was a pretty big one.
Fair counter.
I'm not saying Doug is there or not there or has it or not has it. I just think that when you hear these teams talk, that's a trait that every great team seems to have. Is the guy that's like, when it goes, the coach steps into the background and we have the guy in the court that does this or that. And just take that what you will, because Kenyon, I thought his note was very, very interesting. All right, Eric, will you make us some money? The best way to drown out our sorrows.
Oh man, is just like
get filthy rich.
Just like every other problem in life, throw money at it.
Just throw some money at us, man.
Lean into those. Well, never mind. It's sponsored.
So this is difficult. This is a difficult one because the lines went down, the lines came back up. Like as DraftKings is learning about these, who's actually starting for the Nuggets, things are changing. They're in flux. So I obviously started.
Wow, you can get a 30% profit boost. It's called a Nuggets bounce back boost.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Can I tell you this, though? I hate it. Whenever they give these boosts, I'm always like, that means they don't think the Nuggets are going to bounce.
It's true. It's true. More often than not.
Sucker bet.
They looked at the injury report this morning and they were like, oh, throw a bounce back.
It's like whenever the Jokic triple-double boost, and it's like he's never had a triple-double against this team.
Well, I mean, so the first place that I looked was Nikola Jokic points. I mean, Nikola Jokic has to be the one, like always, to really carry the torch for the team. It's now all the way up to 27.5, and that's not even great juice. Minus 130 for that.
Wow.
But it just feels like that's absolutely going to happen. This is maybe something to throw into a parlay, I would say.
Oh.
You know what I mean? Like, the things that I feel certain of that are going to happen tonight are that Nikola Jokic is going to score.
Okay.
Nikola Jokic is going to rebound.
Yeah.
And he's been on an assist kick. I mean, this feels like a triple-double game opportunity for him again.
Wow.
The only the problem he's going up against is that people have to make the baskets once he passes them the ball, right?
Very astute, Eric.
So that's difficult. That's like a difficult thing to really count on. But so I'm going to use my bonus on Nikola Jokic points, 27.5. That feels like a lock. And then we go to a same game parlay, one that I've already constructed.
Okay.
I do like assists for Jokic tonight as well. I have Nikola Jokic 9+ assists.
Okay, let me find it here. Man, that's a lot of assists.
He's going to get a triple-double tonight, guys.
Wow. Can I just bet the triple-double?
You can, but you can also parse it out and become more profitable.
Okay, 9+ assists.
And then I'm going to channel my inner Dev. Okay. I love Fish. I love some other weird band from the 70s.
Boston.
I love Boston. I've never heard them. I love Nirvana. Okay, I'm Dev now. I'm going to say Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is going to get 30+ points. No problem, right there.
This is my least favorite Begman 7 ever.
Yeah, it's terrible. Well, listen, Dev shows me how it's done, and that's to back the other team every time during a better
That's how you do it.
And the third leg of my parlay, I'm going to have Bruce Brown over 14.5 points. I feel like he is going to shoulder a lot of the scoring burden alongside Jokic because, guys, there's almost nobody playing for the Nuggets. I wouldn't be surprised if at some point we look up and there's only 3 or 4 players on the floor for us.
Man, I wouldn't be surprised at that at all either.
I got to keep it real. I hate your parlay.
Yeah, I didn't like that one.
Okay. Well, when it hits, I watch Brendan Vogt lose parlay after parlay. This one's gonna hit.
Listen, it'll make for good content if it does.
I mean, I agree. It's like it's not a good feeling.
All right, Jokic had 31 last game. We haven't seen the Jokic like hyper aggressive yet because we think he's been setting the table. No one to set the table to. I think we might get hyper aggressive Jokic tonight.
That's what I'm saying. Like tonight, like if you're gonna bet anything, just bet on Jokic
points.
to do anything. Anything you can do on a basketball court that's positive, like bet on that for Jokic.
You know what? Jokic wouldn't let us down on the premiere of our movie, would he?
Yes, he would.
He cares so much about that stuff.
Yeah, right.
Dude, he's a big fan of this movie. He's a really big fan.
He's very in
of this movie.
tune with our vibes, and he never lets them down.
I was very excited when we were in the country with him at the same time.
Who will be the second leading scorer tonight?
I think it's Bruce Brown or
Gordon?
Aaron Gordon.
Aaron Gordon, probably, right?
You think so? Yeah, probably.
I really liked the way Aaron Gordon played through illness,
Yeah.
offensively in that last game. He tacked the
Aaron
rim.
Gordon's he's a I don't know. He's more of a warrior than we give him credit.
I like
Aaron
it.
Gordon's dope, man.
I like it.
We do.
a
This is
lot,
a
yeah.
big AG pod, I've noticed.
This is a big AJ pod. We are very pro AG here. All right, that does it. Everybody like the thing. We're going to go down and watch the game at the bar. And we'll see you guys in the postgame show. Hopefully it's a winner's lounge. Come on, Nuggets.
If
go
it's not a
Nugs.
winner's lunch, don't tune in because we're not doing the show.
Just kidding, though. We are.